And welcome back to Talk Utah. She is Holly Love, and I am Trip Mitchell. Now, let's talk a little bit about the interviews that you got a chance to do just a week or so ago with some folks who've had some kids with some real challenges, and they reached out to Brain Balance, and it's been kind of a real life changer for them.
It's true. So, a few months ago, we got to go down and speak with the founder of Brain Balance, Dr. Robert Malello. We've been focusing on Utah's kids, and specifically the rapid rise of learning disabilities was really concerning to us. I mean, it's like 15 to 20% rise in kids that are suffering with learning disabilities. And so we got to go talk with Robert Malello and find out a little bit about the program. And since then, the response from you and our personal friends and family and people coming forward with children that are suffering is just overwhelming. It definitely matches the statistics. But I went down and I spoke with a family who has two boys who are dealing with all kinds of learning problems, behavioral, social, the Uboldi family. And it's just an incredible story because it seems like these parents with these children, the biggest thing across the board is they don't have hope. There's not a lot of treatment options out there. There's not a lot people can do for them. And Brain Balance is actually doing something. So take a look. All right, everybody, I am here at the South Jordan Brain Balance Center with Marcos and Maria Uboldi. You guys, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now you have two beautiful boys who are enrolled in the program. Maria, tell me a little bit about what life was like prior to Brain Balance.
Okay, so Dylan, he's our 10-year-old, our oldest.
Okay.
He's always excelled. He's academically, music, everything kind of comes easy to him. But he would have these meltdowns. He'd just lose it emotionally and behaviorally. It was hard to get him back on track, no matter what we tried and how many parenting books we read. Preston is our child who came to us with just a special spirit, and he has struggled to do everything. From learning just to be potty trained, dress himself, speak, all of those things came later. And so we've kind of spent his whole life trying to figure out how to help him.
At what point did you realize that this was a bigger problem than you could handle on your own and you needed to find alternative help and tutors, and what kinds of things did you do?
We've tried light and sound therapy. Preston's gone to an occupational therapist. He's been in speech therapy. He has had an IEP since he was 4. Even as a 2-year-old, he went to talk time. So we've done a lot of early intervention stuff with him. With Dylan, we just kept thinking if we're consistent, if it's going to be okay. And actually, with him, it's gotten worse over time, which is interesting. If anything, for parents, I would want to say, don't ignore things that don't seem normal. It's because you might be able to fix them. We just thought he was strong-willed, and we can help direct him. And there's more going on than that.
And how did you find Brain Balance?
Research. I'd been reading a lot of books about the brain and child development and so forth. And I read Disconnected Kids. That was one of the books I read, and it clicked. I knew at some point we were going to need to do this program, and I kind of set it aside. The timing wasn't great. Reread it at some point, thinking, I've got to help these kids again. And it was like, nope, it's time. We've got to look into it. Yeah. And then made a phone call,
And Marcus, how did she approach you about this, and what was your perspective on Brain Balance and bringing your boys here?
Well, Maria had a stack of books about this high or higher in her nightstand, and the things that she was researching and reading and trying to find out, as any good mom would try to find, help their kids. And she would give me things to read and stuff, and then eventually she told me about Brain Balance. And my reaction, and maybe other dads would have reacted this way, they'll grow out of it, it's not that big of a deal. But when she said, Marcos, we got to sit down and talk about this, I knew there was no question. She probably could have talked to me for 3 hours, and I was convinced at the first minute. Yes,
well, you said you knew you were in trouble when the stack of books went from this big down to just one. You were like, oh dear. Yeah. You were like sensing something was coming.
Yeah.
But obviously this was some good news. So, you got the boys involved in the program, and how quickly did you start to see results?
Within a couple of weeks, you notice results. Now, I don't know if that's from nutritional changes. They start to activate their core with the exercises they're doing at home. But there's definitely some improvements we saw within a couple of weeks. And even grandparents noticed Preston's verbal communication. He's telling a whole story. He's he's actually interrupting Dylan to say his part, which is, you know, we have one very verbal and one that kind of stands in the background. And so to have that shift was huge, huge. He's so curious about the world. And just seeing that, when before, we were so grateful when he could just tell us that he wanted to eat or that he needed something. When your child is nonverbal at some point, now that was years ago, you're just grateful that they can communicate at all, that they start to have a vocabulary. And the funnest part about this whole thing has been learning Preston's personality. He is really awesome, actually.
Yeah.
He's always been awesome, but the questions he asks are just so fun. The things he notices and the as he connects the dots.
Marcos, what was it like for you to start to see these boys change in front of your eyes?
The best way, what I can say to describe what I saw, is here we had a 7-year-old when we started the program who was kind of functioning at 3, 4, maybe 5-year-old level. And within a few months, he's a 7-year-old who is a 7-year-old. And even in some cases, in some things, even more advanced. And that's the best way I can describe it. And physically, I mean, he's got abs now. He's ripped, you know. And so, yeah, it's
7-year-old
amazing.
with abs.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
you know, we always had to watch what he ate and stuff. He would sometimes pick a food and just go at it, and you know, we try to control that, you know. And we actually, Maria showed me before and after pictures that she took. She said, "Look at this," and it's astounding.
We can't
You
even
know,
believe it.
Yeah.
We're there.
And in school, what's going on with school?
Preston couldn't even hold a pencil.
Really?
Yeah, like the dexterity was really, he struggled with that. And he still does a little bit, but it's light years of where he used to be. You know, like he can actually, he's starting to be able to spell again and to, you know, again, not the best speller, but it's, you know, he's, again, the dogs are connecting, you know, but just being able to do this, to hold a pencil, you know, I mean, he couldn't do it, and now he can.
Dylan picked up more of those things naturally, and we thought he read well, but now that we realize, oh, his eyes track smoothly now. And so where he was compensating for his weaknesses, now he doesn't have to compensate, and it's so much less work for him to do the same amount of effort.
Now, you guys are only like partway through the program, but already seeing these results this quickly. You mentioned some social things even at school that are happening, and awesome with even Preston.
Yeah, he is a child who kind of hides behind his big brother, who tends to be much more of a leader and much more social. And so he's not completely socially awkward, but he is a little bit nervous around people, especially at first. And instead of sitting with his brother and his brother's friends, the 10-year-old, he's now sitting at the 7-year-old table with the friends he chooses. And I'm shocked. Seriously, he came home and told me that right before the Christmas break, and I was like, "You didn't sit with Dylan today?" I couldn't believe it, really. And Dylan said, "No, he sits with his own friends, Mom. He doesn't want to hang out with me." And I thought, that's actually really good. I'm glad that they're friends, but I want Preston to be able to hold his own, you know?
Yeah.
At some point in life, you don't want to just be the little brother,
Yeah.
you know? And so, and he's had some sensory issues too, so he's like, we couldn't get him on a merry-go-round. He would not ride between up and down and around. At the zoo, we had to sit on that peacock bench that holds still. He could not do both, too much. He went to frightmares with Marcos, and he went on the white roller coaster. He went on Jetstar, and he said, "Mom, I liked it. I liked the roller coaster."
Aww.
I mean, we
So
about
this is a
had a
different
heart
kid.
attack. No,
Yeah,
he is.
yeah.
This is a completely
that
different
day-
child for you.
Yes.
That
when
day
I-
was a breakthrough.
Yeah,
for
if
him.
I can talk a little bit about frightmares. I mean, when I took him there, and when we went on that Jetstar, right, if people know which one that is, you know, it's the one where you go up in circles, and then you go down really, really fast. And I was a little worried that, you know, and he loved it. He's like, "Can we go again?" And I mean, that is astounding.
This
Because
is when you're like a whole new child.
yeah,
we
and
couldn't do merry-go-round.
yeah,
2
and
months
2
ago.
months before, he wouldn't even get on the merry-go-round. So, you know, even if there was that night, a friend of mine, a really dear friend of mine, was with me, another dad with, you know, some of his kids and some little friends that came with us, and he was like, "Who is this kid?"
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
You said it's like you were watching him come out of a cocoon.
Yeah.
You're actually getting to know his personality for the first time at 7 years old, which is just, I mean, that's amazing.
Yes.
Life for you too a little better. You're breathing a little easier now.
Yeah, I'd say for me what it does, okay, it doesn't mean easy because you have to be willing to commit to the work with anything good in life, really. But for me, what it brought was hope. And when you're a parent and you feel like, wow, why was I given this child with all of these difficulties to have hope that he can have this amazing future is so huge. You can't buy that.
Yeah.
You can't. You've got to do the work, but he will function normally. He will go on to do amazing things. And to know that this child has incredible potential beyond my wildest dreams is so amazing to me.
I mean, what more can you ask for, yeah?
Exactly.
Right? Well, I would absolutely love to meet the kids. Thank you so much for talking to me, but don't go anywhere. Let's bring on the boys, yeah?
All right.
Yeah.
let's
All
do it.
right. All right, we have Dylan, Preston, and Marissa here. Thanks so much for coming in to talk to us, you guys. So, Dylan, you are 10 years old, yes?
Yeah.
And tell me, what was it like before Brain Balance? What kinds of things were you struggling with at school or at home?
I was struggling with my attitude a lot, and my skills at schoolwork weren't as good as they were, but I'm doing much better now.
Do you have a favorite subject now that maybe you didn't like so much before?
Probably math. That one I wasn't sure about, but I got more interested in it.
Now, Preston, you are 7 years old, right? 7 years old.
Yes.
And what is your favorite subject in school?
Math.
You like math? Yeah? Did you like math before you came to Brain Balance? You did, so you were just in there a math wizard the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me, do you like hanging out with friends now more than you did before? What's school like for you now?
Honor.
It's more fun? That's awesome. So do you hang out with Dylan at school?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Also, Easton.
Easton's your friend, huh?
He'll hang out with his friends.
Yeah? Marcos, have you seen a change in the mornings and the routine and how your day goes?
Yeah, obviously doing exercises, we do it 3 times a day, so I go to the gym early, and when I come home, I do exercises with him right first thing in the
We
morning.
got to keep up because Preston has a six-pack.
That's right, yeah, I can have
Yeah.
I can have a fitter kid than me. But so I'm coming to them, and then they have breakfast and they get going, and then they do it in the afternoon with me, and then when I'm back home, usually in the evenings, I do it again. And it's not easy. I'm not gonna lie, but we get them done. I mean, it's our routine. We get it done, and things seem to be little by little flowing better and better, all the time.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us today. I am really looking forward to talking to you again in like a few months. I think it will be interesting to see what happens as you guys progress through the program a little bit more, and we'll see how you guys are doing then. Will that be cool? Will you guys talk to me again in a few months from now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. All right, thanks for coming
Thank you.
in.
Thank you.
Well, Holly, you did a great job there. That had to be gut-wrenching talking to a family like that.
We were all crying, the entire crew. We had Aaliyah, I think Chris was a little, maybe not totally crying, but it was, it's so heartfelt to hear them go through what they had to go through with their son, and then to actually see little Preston. And we're going to, like I said, follow up with them in a few months, and it'll be fun to see the progress. I mean, in a few weeks, he was going from not being able to make friends or even really talk to friends, and at lunch being like ditching his older brother and hanging out with his own crew, and so it's so exciting. It's really awesome. I think what Maria said best is it's offering some hope to parents that haven't been able to find it anywhere else.
Yeah, it is such a challenge, and I'm so impressed with everyone down at Brain Balance, and it's a great, great story.
Well, and they have 3 locations. They have one in St. George, one in South Jordan, and one in Pleasant Grove. And anytime you want to go in and talk to a director there, you can have a free consultation. If you've got a child that's suffering with a learning disability, social or behavioral problems, just go in, make an appointment. They'll sit down, they'll talk to you, they'll help you figure out what they could do to help your kids.
Fantastic. Great job, Holly. We'll be back after this short break.